Okay, so breaking down Ferris. So, yeah, let's start with the drums. So the drums are one take as far as I can see. So Darren would have sent me these drums. So I would have sent him probably this.
Beautiful morning.
Oh, it's the same thing. Like click track, everything else, and he would have done his drums. So those sound like this.
Expected to work on a day like this.
You can see that all the drums have got markers for the edits. I don't usually quantize things so much. I tend to do it by hand, so I'll go through and like drag each kick and snare kind of onto the grid. If I just hit quantize, they're too perfect sometimes. So these ones sound pretty spot on though on the click. I find because the tambourine is perfect because the tambourine's like a sample that's looped. If the drums get too out of time with the tambourine in particular, it sounds weird. So yeah, I do like the bass line in this song. I'll start here. That's well. The bass has soothe on it, which is interesting. It's probably debugging bass. I always use the Cerberus bass amp. Sometimes I'll use it as a 8x10. You hear it gets super bassy then, so I lift it up. Sometimes I'll just do that if I want to do a bit thinner. In this case, I've done that, and I've actually EQ'd out a bunch of stuff from the bottom. I don't know why, it sounds alright. It must have been getting in the way of the drums, maybe. Maybe it would have been fine. Guitars. So there's two DI'd guitars which use Ruby and Lion, which is an AC30 and a Marshall. AC30 is that one that you hear on its own at the start. Lion sounds like this, and together they sound like that. And then I had the brilliant idea of doing this super fuzzy sound. So that's a mic'd up amp. That's my Vibrolux. What does it say here? What does it say? Probably says ES345 Vibrolux. So that's the Gibson and the Vibrolux, and I don't have weirdly that tremolo arm thing. I don't actually have a Jag or a Jazzmaster, so that would be the Bixby on the Gibson, which I do all the time. Keys just follow the vocal melody, I think.
Just like Ferris taught us, life moves pretty fast, so we should stop and look around.
The keys are this UAD. I use a lot of UAD plugins. Elector 88, so I don't actually know what that is a copy of. It's gone out of my head now. Doesn't matter, that's fine. It's on Roland. No, it doesn't matter. So you can hear the drip on the spring reverb, which is really nice. Yeah, that's cool. I like it. And then,
Work on a day
just in there. I have the insets turned off because my computer can't cope with having all this shit at the same time. So vocals is glitching out.
Where we go,
It doesn't really sound like that.
what we do.
You can see it doesn't like it. So weirdly, I don't normally have
to spend the day.
harmony stuff, but I obviously decided to do it on this track, which interesting. Yeah, and that's the breakdown of the actual that's just back to the one guitar again, and then it all kicks in. So if you look at the my markers, it's the A part, B part, little gap, A part, B part, and I've labelled it gap, but actually it's just the end, right? But it still has it's kind of the outro, I guess, the coda. I think I must have done, I did a fade out. You can see in the automation, I did a fade out there. Yeah, so that's Ferris. All right, so this is how to actually play Ferris. So it's based around the C shape. If you take that C shape and run it all the way up to here, you're only playing those bits. Change your fingers. Put this one down on that note. Right. Then C, but with your little finger down, which is more like a G, but G with the G, that G open. That makes sense. So you put it together and it's a beautiful morning. So maybe we should call it sick and stay in bed. Sometimes I just play that instead, which is kind of like lots of open strings. I like it. It's the 703. Work behind the screen. Bell factory. I think I played a D there. And then change is just B minor 7th. I don't care. What we do. And then the G adds the A, so that would be a 9th. Give me a second, 9th maybe. I don't care where we go, what we do. And then just dun, 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 dun. La, and then it starts again. So C-shaped bar chord, that's obviously it, right? So I probably just played that, but then that's D, so I don't know. Sounds more like it actually. Open E, but with that note. That's how to play it on the guitar. So that's fun. All right, let's talk about the words to Ferris. Obviously, it's about Ferris Bueller. Um, when I wrote this, typically I have the music first, so I had the music first, and it was July, August here in Australia, so cold. Don't want to get out of bed in the morning, all that sort of stuff. So it started as it's a cold, miserable morning, right? So let's stay in bed, which was I remember the first bit that I came up with, and then I was, and then I thought, no, it could be a beautiful morning, and then I was particularly pleased with call in. So it's a beautiful morning, so why don't we call in and sick and stay in bed? And I liked the way morning and call in rhymed ish, but then sick hung over to the next line. So I was particularly pleased with that bit, I think. And then when I thought of, people who call in sick and stay in bed, I immediately thought of Ferris Bueller. And so, just like Ferris taught us, life moves pretty fast and we should stop and look around, which is a direct lift out of the film. If you're of a certain age, though, Ferris Bueller was one of those films. But yeah, Ferris did teach us to stop and look around, I suppose, in a weird kind of way. And then how can I possibly be expected to work on a day like this is misquoted because it's how could I be expected to go to school on a day like this? And then the next bit, I don't care where we go and what we do. That's pretty much their day together. I like the next verse that catch the 703 to work behind the screen at the email factory. I like that 703 can be either a bus number or a train number or a time. I was pleased with that. The email factory is not something I came up with. My wife comes home from work and says, another hard day at the email factory. And I was like, okay, well, I'll lift that. I like that bit. And the rest of it, so maybe we should go to Echo Beach. So Echo Beach is obviously from Martha and the Muffins, Echo Beach, I think it is. So another, from 9 to 5, I have to spend my time at work, blah, blah, blah. On the weekends, I go to Echo Beach. So it's another song referencing kind of escaping from work. And I like the fact that Echo Beach is not a real place in exactly the same way that Ferris Bueller is not set in a real place, although all of those films were set in the same high school and the same, fake town. So that's the lyrics of Ferris, and I'll put them on the screen somewhere so you can see them. But yeah, I'm happy that people like the song. So thanks for watching all of this. It's probably quite boring for most of you. All right, next time. See ya.